is when we are at our divisive worst. Krishnamurti says here too it is the image that is hurt and suggests we live without images. Let's take an example to see what goes on. During the pandemic, I had written an article in a local paper about the Theosophical Society at Adyar. The article was titled, "Have you been to the Theosophical Society?" I received praise for the effort, but a few days later, I received an email from another senior Theosophist member telling me about the mistakes in the article and also saying that it had a flippant tone. I was okay with the mistakes being pointed out, as that was true. But about the flippant tone really hurt. The person was so respected and loved by me that it really shook me. I had to really look at myself and see if I was flippant, which means taking things lightly. Or was I a serious member of the society? Indeed, when I met the senior Theosophist, I thanked him for his remarks and told him it had pushed me to become a more serious member. The truth is, every time this incident comes to my mind, I sense the hurt elemental raising its head. And every time I tell myself it was true, all of it. So accept the error and become serious, a serious Theosophist. So the third key is never to be hurt. If I can figure a way to be never hurt, I don't have to protect myself. I don't have to separate myself from another. Another key to an integrated mind is understanding this thing that we call unity. Though we are all unique, yet all our uniqueness goes towards one single large picture, like a holon or a holograph, which is one large picture made of many small pictures. Each small picture is the same as the large one. I couldn't exactly get the holograph that I wanted. Here the small pictures look different from the large, but you get the idea. Though if you see it in detail, the same picture, the small pictures look vague and unclear. Also, you cannot remove any small picture from the whole either. So in our incompleteness, the picture we all make together is far more perfect than we individually are. When we keep this concept at the back of our mind that we are each incomplete in some way or the other, and each of us has a very definite role in completing the whole picture, our manner of behavior towards another becomes more respectful and caring. There was a movie based on Dr. Seuss's book called Horton Hears a Who. It was about how an elephant named Horton, who hears a voice shouting help from a speck of dust. You can see a white dot on that pink flower at the bottom where the elephant's eye is visible. There is a white dot. That is the speck. So this elephant hears a shout from that speck, shout from that speck of dust, and he discovers that there is a whole world of intelligent beings living on that speck. In the slide you see that white dot on that flower. It has all these characters which are on the right side. Now Horton had to fight his whole jungle who thought he was crazy to talk to somebody on a speck and wanted to throw that speck into a cauldron of oil and cure Horton out of this problem. But finally Horton somehow manages to convince the speck people to speak so that the jungle people will be convinced, and the jungle people get convinced, and they are all saved. Now the theme of the movie is, even though you can't see or hear them at all, a person is a person no matter how small. So every single person is important. The movie ends with a zooming out of the jungle so far that we see the earth as a speck of dust. The fifth key is to live without fear. Everything frightens us. A divisive mind is afraid of financial instability, loss of face, loss of a family member, loss of health, and 1,000 other fears. Our imagination creates fears mostly. An integrated mind has no fear. His mind operates in a plane of love, of peace. Every fear that comes into his mental space is dealt with and dispensed immediately, for he knows that most of the fears are self-created monsters that disturb his mental peace. He replaces fear with love as a constant habitual practice and does not value deluded imaginations. As N. Sri Ramji said, the state of love is the state of grace. The development of that state and the unlocking of its mysteries brings one to the condition where there is no separation between oneself and others. So in creating an integrated mind, one can consciously replace fear with love. To live without a self-image, to live with certainties, not beliefs, to never be hurt. Know every being is important and never be afraid. These all help us create an integrated mind. Now we look at a little code theosophy, technical knowledge. I think all of us who study this are very tempted to do this kind of research also. Let us, in the morning, we were told about how the monad lets out a bit of itself and develops the Atma Buddhi Manas. So Naji beautifully explained the whole journey. So let's look at that from our soul's journey, this whole topic. This journey from a divisive mind to an integrated mind actually represents our journey from our personality self to our individuality self or our soul. Okay, our individuality self and our soul. Let us look at the mechanism of how the monad develops from the stage of the group soul onwards. First, the group soul of the mineral consists of 3 different types of matter. As you can see in the slide. That of physical atomic matter, the astral atomic matter and the mental elemental essence. Why is it called physical atomic matter or astral atomic matter? Is because it is of the 7th or the highest plane of that matter. Why it is called mental elemental